China has paid 4.1 billion in compensation for years of construction of the Mecca-to-Medina light rail. How should this account be calculated? In this video, let us learn more about it. In the second half of 2016, the Mecca-to-Medina light rail, contracted and constructed by a Chinese company, was officially put into use in Saudi Arabia. As the main builder of the world's first high-speed railway across the desert, the railway has cut the travel time between Mecca and Medina in half when completed. This has also won praise for China's infrastructure companies going global. But having said that, we still have to talk about the Mecca high-speed railway itself. After all, no matter how others praise it, this light rail, which was constructed from 2009 to 2016, has finally made this big overseas order for Chinese companies exploding. In short, the company contracted for railway track construction lost a total of 4.153 billion on this project. The public bidding for the Mecca high-speed railway was launched in 2009. At that time, the original railway between Mecca and Medina already had many safety problems due to old equipment. As a result, the Saudi government has launched a $60 billion tender, hoping to build another railway between the two holy cities to meet the transportation needs between the two holy cities. However, because the railway tracks need to be built in earthquake zones, more than 80% of the area between the two holy cities is also desert. Therefore, despite Saudi Arabia's generous spending, no other company has dared to directly respond. It was against this background that at the end of 2009, the Ministry of Railways of China personally took the lead and formed an alliance with 5 Chinese group companies and companies from Germany, Saudi Arabia and other countries to contract this extremely challenging project. Then China was dragged down by this large overseas order. Why serious losses occurred? The first thing to mention is Saudi Arabia, the host. As party A of the entire project, we need to make it clear that Saudi Arabia does not have the management capabilities for such a large-scale project, but they must be responsible for many tasks, such as land acquisition and demolition along the way. Because of this, the project was very difficult at the beginning. From the underground pipe network to the land acquisition process to the follow-up personnel logistics, chaos was almost everywhere, which greatly increased the cost of the project. Therefore, Saudi Arabia lacks experience in large-scale project management, leading to chaotic management. This is one of the reasons. At the same time, in general, many people in Saudi Arabia do not have a complete concept of engineering technology. But the problem is that the identity of Party A is on Saudi Arabia's head, so during the construction process, Saudi Arabia, as Party A, made many unreasonable demands. For example, in 2010, after reviewing the overall progress of the project, the Saudi Arabian side made a significant increase in the project's capacity requirements compared with the contract stipulations. Such constant changes in requirements during the project will naturally lead to the construction company repeatedly revising the plan, which once led to the readjustment of some completed projects. This is the second reason. In addition, as a religious country, Saudi Arabia deserves attention, of course, because of religious factors. After all, the two cities at both ends of the Mecca railway are holy cities, and there are always restrictions on non-believers entering and working. Against this background, Chinese construction companies cannot find so many senior employees who are religious. As a result, they had no choice but to report to the Organization Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, and let some technical staff become religious. The party membership status of these technical staff will be restored after the project is completed. In addition, the shortage of ordinary religious workers in China is even greater. In order to make up for the inconvenience caused by this, the construction team had no choice but to recruit religious laborers from Africa and Southeast Asia overseas. On the one hand, this increases the cost, on the other hand, it also slows down the progress. This is the third one. Of course, having said that, the Mai Railway thunderstorm is by no means solely caused by Saudi Arabia's problems. In fact, since the project adopted the EPC plus O&M general contracting model, the project actually only had a conceptual design at the beginning of the signing. During the construction process, the Mai Railway is located in an earthquake zone, and 80% of the distance needs to pass through the vast desert. Although the Chinese companies had fully considered the difficulties of desert construction before the project started, all the disadvantages were amplified along with the various troubles made by the Saudi party mentioned above. In this way, during the project implementation process, the actual number of projects carried out by Chinese companies increased significantly compared with the number of projects expected when the contract was signed. The entire line is 480 kilometers long. It was built in 2009 and was not put into operation until 2016. In fact, it was not completed at that time. About 90% of it was completed. What is this concept? The Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway is more than 1,300 kilometers, and it took less than 3 years from the start of construction to the operation. Such a comparison, we also know how difficult it is to build the Mai Railway. It is also worth mentioning that in the later stages of the project, the nature of the matter escalated due to Saudi protests through diplomatic channels. After the Ministry of Railways officially took over, it could only push forward the project forcefully regardless of the labor cost. If the manpower was insufficient, it would spend high prices on engineering equipment. Having said that, there is an answer to why this overseas infrastructure construction in Saudi Arabia suffered losses. Correspondingly, China overseas infrastructure is certainly not charity. But the question is, what has China shown in this project? First of all, it must be mentioned that this project is the first time that a Chinese company has undertaken overseas, integrating design, procurement, construction, operation, and maintenance. Therefore, although there were overspend and even losses during the early construction process, after completing Party A's entrustment, China also obtained the right to operate the railway in Saudi Arabia for a period of 3 years. In recent years, the annual railway passenger volume has exceeded 15 million, which has more or less made up for the previous excess expenditure losses. At the same time, during the entire construction process of the high-speed rail project, the Chinese engineering team overcame the harsh working environment of high temperature, drought, and often sandstorms, and met the needs of Saudi Arabia as the Party A through the special design of the track. This has not only accumulated valuable experience for China's railway construction in extremely harsh desert environments, but also allowed the world to see China's infrastructure strength. In addition, the original 4-hour journey between the two cities was shortened to 2 hours, which also enabled the builders of this railway to receive praise from the Saudi people and many pilgrims. Of course, more importantly, it is true that a main railway will end up with losses, but in addition to the short-term economic accounts, we also need to look at the long-term economic accounts. Even in addition to the economic account, there is also a political account. On the one hand, with the development of the times, China's infrastructure once faced the threat of overcapacity domestically. To find a way out for the export of excess concrete and other industries, overseas infrastructure is a good way to release production capacity. At the same time, it is also worth mentioning that the world history told by Mr. Marx tells us that the development of the world market needs to be accompanied by the development of world transportation, just like the old Chinese saying, if you want to get rich, build roads first. In other words, only when China's infrastructure goes global can it develop the world market and export our industrial products and industrial standards. In fact, in many cases, only the first social benefits can drive subsequent economic and political benefits. In short, China's infrastructure construction activities in Asia, Africa and Latin America are undoubtedly decisions made by the country after careful consideration. They are an important part of China's expansion into the world market and are based on considerations of long-term interests. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more great content. See you next time.